this little thing and say hello to Marcus, everybody. Hello.
Good evening. Hello. Great to be here. Great to be here.
I tried to do some little Welsh kind of tribute with your little information.
Oh, I've got my Welsh feathers on, yes.
I tried to get a picture of the Welsh countryside. I tried to stick close to the colors for you and everything.
Oh, look at this. Hey, you're spoiling me again. You're spoiling me again.
But everybody, this is my friend Marcuslapsa. I can't say enough good things about him. I've known you through Spiritual Psychics TV. That's how we first met.
Yes.
So what, maybe 4 or 5 years?
It's got to be now, wasn't it? Yeah. Well, you're my bestie. I always used to tell them, didn't I? They say, which you mean? I say, Rachel's my bestie, and they say, you can't say that. You can't say that.
I know. Yeah, I know. You would always get scolded.
Yeah, and they used to tell me off, and I say, well, it is what it is.
Oh, it is what it is. I feel the same way. Maybe it's because my birthday happens to be the 21st, and yours the 22nd of February.
Well, what can I say? Yeah, not quite two peas in the same pod, but one pot first.
There we go. All right, so we actually were talking a little bit before I started to record this about different forms of mediumship and spirituality and the spiritualist movement. And as all of you may know by now, and I hope you do, that the ThePsychicCellar is about inclusivity in anybody's belief system, because through any type of belief system, even through, and this is a little bit, a little bit of a caustic area to talk about, but even through atheism is a belief system. Whatever belief system you have, if it gives a person strength, if it gives a person a firm foundation to kind of build from, and it gives that person hope, who is anybody else to try to rip that structure out from that person and mold them into something that they are not? So that is what the ThePsychicCellar is about. And I brought Marcus here today. Thank you, Marcus, again for being a part of it. Okay. Because I wanted to talk about the differences between spiritualism or the spiritualist movement here in America versus the UK, where in the UK it is actually protected under the Religious Act.
Yes,
Yeah, but here in the States, it is not in any way, shape, or form protected. So what can you say about your experience? Because you were talking about how you actually came to the States for a birthday and you encountered a bit of a major difference, like an eye popping.
Yes. Well, the thing is, as you said, spiritualism, is protected by law in the UK. And if anybody wants to research it, just look up Helen Duncan, because I think might be talking about physical mediumship. And Helen Duncan was the last medium who was prosecuted under the Witchcraft Act. And the reason that she was prosecuted was because she gave evidence of a sailor that had died. And he had died, and he was when she was in trance, and the materialized spirit was giving information to the mother of this son, and this son says to the mother, I'm okay, this, that, and the other. But the thing was, it hadn't been made public. It had not been made public.
It was all military.
It was all military, because it was all, we were at war and everything else. And then Winston Churchill, I'm sure that a lot of your listeners will, understand who Winston Churchill was. He just said, you got to let this woman go, whatever. And then the movement moved forward, because I was doing a service in Leicester Church the last Sunday, and there's a lady there that was, it was her 85th birthday. And I said to her, Marion, I said, look, in your day, when you were a child, we wouldn't be able to have a service like this. We'd have to have lookouts on the door. They used to have them in sort of rooms and whatever. And we've moved so far forward. But with that comes a responsibility as well, because they, rules, regulations, and everything else. And when all said and done, mediumship is, it's just an ability. To me, it's just an ability.
Me too.
And as long as you lay the information down in a responsible way, then hopefully we are there to prove survival. But I always say, if someone says something that offends your reason, and it is supposed to come from spirit, throw it out for the rubbish it is. Because there's a lot of charlatans, there's a lot of nonsense out there, and there's a lot of, I don't know if I can use that word, it starts with C and ends in rap.
Yes, you can use that.
There's a lot of that out there, and and what we should be doing is trying to get that quality of mediumship, irrespective of which country we're in, or whether it's protected or not, is because quite often when someone loses the physical presence of someone, they are in quite a vulnerable state as well. So we have a huge responsibility as mediums to give that information in a responsible way.
To provide almost like a bit of healing, a confirmation of, hey, this is okay.
Yes.
That's how I view it. Like to actually alleviate anxiety, stress through confirmation and evidential mediumship. That's how I kind of perceive it. Now, there are some rules and regulations here in the States that even not just mediumship, but anything classified under the psychic umbrella. No discussion about health, legal matters, anything of that kind of nature. And unfortunately, I've witnessed this far too many times and I can't really put my finger on why it's happening, but I've had many other readers come to me, and I've started mentoring.
Yeah.
And they come to me and they're like, why is it that the majority of the public here in the States seem to just want to hear the most salacious tidbits and the most anxiety kind of burdening tidbits? And I cannot really put my finger on why that seems to be the case. And these are at like what we call here psychic fairs, which means that there are vendors of like spiritual goods, and then also different readers, different mediums, Reiki practitioners, healers, like that, right? And people will go to those that on a repeat basis to the ones that dangle the carrot,
Why?
The carrot.
But why?
I know. Why?
You know what I mean? The thing is, look, the thing is, and a lot of people got to understand a few basics. And, I'm down to earth, as you know, and they've got to understand a few basics. Look, we've all got these abilities, okay? Some of us work harder than others at them. We've all got these abilities. It's normal. It's normal everyday stuff. Everybody's got a psychic ability. You can be a psychic. You can be the world's best psychic without being a medium. You cannot be a medium without a psychic ability, because we are talking the type of communication that we have is something other than the physical five senses. So this is interblend of the psychic information and the messages that are coming from spirit. And when people have that proof of survival and they know that they've had that communication, if you're into spiritualism and spirituality, then you as an individual then should use that knowledge to structure your life around it, not keep on going back to a psychic, keep on going back to a medium to get the same evidence or the slightly different evidence. That's nonsense. If you've got your evidence that every single human soul, no matter what color, no matter what creed, and most importantly of all, and you mentioned it, no matter what religion they profess they belong to, when you have that knowledge of a continuation of life for all, then is a huge responsibility to structure our lives around a spiritual life as well as a physical life. And I think a lot of people are missing that. And when you get your evidence, use that knowledge, that spark of divinity which is in every single person. Use that to build your life more spiritual, as opposed to, you know, my wife said something a couple of years ago. You know, when we were younger, it was my generation. Now it's the me generation.
Yeah.
And the thing is, we are all one family. We are all one family. And soon as we get to acknowledge that, irrespective of religion, because to me, and exactly as you said, no matter what religion you profess you belong to, because there's a grain of truth that goes through them all.
That is correct.
But ultimately, we are responsible. We are responsible for our spiritual pathway. Not some psychic, not some medium, not some spirit guidance.
Nope.
Because, you know, we both know as mediums, they come as they are.
Yeah.
You know they, and the communication that we have is the communication from the people giving memories and giving, you know, and yes, they give encouragement, and yes, they give a little bit of guidance. But look, if someone used to shovel horse manure for a living when they were here, they might be the best, most spiritual person alive. But if that person starts giving advice on rocket science, you know it's going to be wrong.
Yeah.
You know, we don't, you know, we don't have to have a college degree to understand that if an auntie that used to gossip all the time links with a medium and starts giving information, she's going to give gossip.
Yeah.
That's who she was, you know. So anyway,
I've tried to explain.
I'm going off track. I'm going off
No,
track.
it's all right. I appreciate it because you are actually voicing some of the things that I hold in. And I'm just like, oh, this needs to we really need to have a bigger dialogue here in the States about spiritualism and the spiritualist movement. And because you know that I've told you before, but it's been a very long time. I don't need the tarot cards. I don't need tarot cards. I don't need any of that, right?
Enter into my psychic kitchen.
Yeah.
My psychic pantry.
Yeah.
But this is exactly what I'm saying. Quite
Yeah.
often I do a psychic pantry because, like you say, you don't need tarot cards, you don't need crystals, you don't need a crystal ball. That is a focal point. That is a prop. And you can use anything.
Correct.
Anything. Sorry.
Right. Anything under the sun. Anything.
Yeah.
What it is, and I've actually started telling a few clients that, you know, this is more for you. You know, when I pull a card, this is more for you, and I'll show the card than for me. You know, this because this is something that I want you to take a picture of that is a tangible. Let me get a little index card here. A tangible black and white thing that you can focus on later, take a picture of, look at it when you get home and say, okay, this is what we talked about today. But for me, in doing a reading or doing any type of mediumship, it is solely a prop. However, here in the States,
I've got a better one.
Okay,
I've got
go for it.
honestly, oh, really, really, really. Just as you were talking, I've got a golf tee with elastic band around it.
Right.
That I just put around there, and you could do it. I'm gonna have to put my glasses on.
That's all right.
Just to just to get a little bit of direction there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look. And there's a figure of 8 there. So I'll tell you now, someone who will listen to this, okay,
Mm-hmm.
will have an anniversary of a birthday on the 8th of July. Okay, so I'll just throw that out there. And that was from a golf tee with a little bit of there. And whoever that person is, direct message me.
There
Direct
you go.
message me. Okay. And the thing is, when we're using our abilities, and I'm not being facetious when I say this, because I really do them with salt and pepper,
Yeah.
coffee grounds, bit of
Yeah, we
pasta,
were
this, that,
talking
and the
about
other.
this just a few moments ago. Yeah, the psychic pantry.
Yeah.
That's what we call it.
And it's a bit of fun. And he puts the person at ease. But all it is a prop. All it is a prop.
Yeah. And here people will take tarot so seriously. Like you have to like almost coddle the cards. You have to do this with the cards. You have to do that with the cards. And they will not make a decision, like an important family decision, like as a parent to their children, without consulting tarot. And when I hear this, I'm like,
Stop it.
yeah.
Do you know the history of tarot? The history of tarot, it was a parlor game. It was a parlor game.
I know.
You know, we used to go there and we used to have a little bit of fun with it.
Yeah.
If seriously, and if there are some of these people out there where you have to use your own abilities and you want direction, use the I Ching.
Yeah.
3 coins.
Yeah.
Because you use the I Ching, you would read the guidance, and then you, as an individual, then will put your interpretation on that. Because with tarot cards, with angel cards, yeah, they're a nice prop, and there's some great tarot readers out there, but it's only their interpretation on it. Yeah. It's only their interpretation. I'm getting excited now. I'm passionate because I can hear my voice going up a bit. I can hear my voice going back.
And you get a little bit more color too.
That's the passionate Welsh in me.
I know. I mean, being the Celt,
Anthony Hopkins and Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Now, so on top of that, I hear so many people say, "Well, I have this gift. I have this."
That's not a gift. It's not a gift. No, it's not a gift. It's not a gift.
It's an ability. It's an ability that anybody has.
That's not a gift. The problem is when people say that, and I do apologize for. I don't mean to upset anybody, and I don't mean to be controversial. Okay, I really don't. But the thing is, people put the gifts, this gift, that gift, it's because they want to elevate themselves. They believe there's an elevation if it's a gift and somebody hasn't got it, that I'm something special. But it's not. It's an ability. Just as you will get, I don't know, I'll use an analogy to your American football, Dan Marino, he would practice and practice and practice. You know what I mean? Larry Bird with the basketball. He it's not a gift. They were there hours and hours and hours practicing that basketball. It's ability, and you have that ability. And yes, some people are more open to certain abilities, but you have to work damn hard at it.
You have to hone it. You have to hone that ability.
So, people will say, "Oh, no, I've read this book and it's the gift of the spirit." And I'm thinking, again, it's a control thing. If I've got something that you haven't, then, I'm special. And we're not special. Mediums are not special. We're just normal everyday people that have an ability that we have chosen a pathway to try to help others.
And there's also a lot of controversy about now this is the tacky end of the spectrum when it
tacky. Oh, I like tacky.
And
I've been to Vegas.
There you go. But what goes on in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Oh, well, yeah, but I love Vegas. I love Vegas.
But people have actually come to me, and because I'm a Reiki master teacher, so I have started doing Reiki certifications for people, and every
Okay.
levels, things like that, giving attunements. And I have been told I cannot charge what I am, like how I am being with my students, because goes against the standard. And meaning that I will tell a student whatever you can comfortably, whether it be a barter system, just help me out with an event, or help me like clean my space for an event, or
Yeah,
just
yeah,
run errands during an event, anything, like help me, either pay it forward to somebody that
yeah.
needs help, whatever. I'm not allowed to do that, because they want to charge hundreds of dollars per level of Reiki for 3 levels of Reiki.
I,
And I'm like,
I'm the wrong person to talk to about healing.
oh,
I've
listen,
got very
we're talking
hard and fast views, hard and fast views, hard
Oh,
and fast
we're
views.
even talking. I know you don't even charge for your mediumship. You
No, I
are
don't.
like
No, I
the
don't.
ultimate humanitarian.
No, no, not at all. Look, the thing
Oh,
is,
I
I'm
know.
privileged. I'm privileged. I'm privileged to be able. I'm relatively fit, and I work full time. I look. I'm not against anybody charging. Let's get that straight. If anybody wants to charge for a reading, healing, I'm not against that. I'm privileged that I haven't had to do that because I've done other things. Because I love my work, I love my humanitarian work, I love everything that I do. But now the thing is, healing. When we're talking about healing, look, it's the highest form of mediumship. Okay, it's the highest form. Now, if you want to put a tag on it, like a crystal ball and a tarot card or whatever, and
And that's
yes, you've
what
got
they
Reiki healing, and you've got crystal healing, and you've got this, and you've got that, and you've got, and I'm going to go on a weekend, and I'm going to go on 3 weekends, and then I'm going to be a super master. Then, oh yeah, but you can only be a super master if you give me $500, and then you can be a super master. That's fine. But the thing is, let me tell you now, you all out there, whether it's Reiki,
do.
whether it's crystal, whether it's this, whether it's that, whether it's hands-on healing, whether it's magnetic healing, whatever it is, you are the healer.
Mm-hmm.
All the rest of it just amplifies the energy.
Mm-hmm.
And your abilities can amplify that energy.
Mm-hmm.
You are the healer.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever course you want on, and if you want to go on that course and you want to pay that, fine, do it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the individual that's the healer. It's the individual that has the ability. And if you have a crystal that can do this, or you, for example, amber will sort of be good for chest conditions and this, that, and the other. That's great. So somebody will say, "Oh, I'm going to go and buy an amber necklace." Well, okay then. Yeah, go and buy an amber necklace. Yeah, and there's going to be a little bit of a change.
Mm-hmm.
But if that individual has an ability and they hone that ability, then it's going to help even more.
Mm-hmm.
It's look, don't, you do what you want to do,
Mm-hmm.
charge what you want to charge, but be reasonable about it.
Right.
Be reasonable.
I am all about, I should say, I am against gatekeeping, which is what is happening, because there is a divide, I seem to feel, and I keep coming up against within the community of spiritualism here in the States, where you have those people that say, "Oh, I'm so gifted," and those people are like just saying, "No, it's an ability." And
Yeah,
the
well,
ones
look,
that are
yeah,
saying, "Oh, I'm so gifted," are the ones who are starting to
you, you,
not
you,
talk
I'm
about
sorry to
who
smile. I'm
just
sorry
have
to smile.
abilities. And it's like, what?
I'm sorry to smile because I've had people come up to me and said, "Ah, but Marcus, you don't realize that I'm a natural medium." And I think, well, there's no such thing as an unnatural medium.
Right.
You know, it's a natural thing. So, but look, I don't want to. Look, people are people. No,
Right.
people are people. You know,
Everybody has their own
you know,
personality,
there's
and yeah.
nothing wrong with wanting to be the best of what you want to do. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be the best tarot reader, wanting to be the best crystal ball reader. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be the best channel for spirit. That's not ego, because if you want to be the best, you'll work hard at it and you'll hone that skill and everything else. Telling everybody you're the best, that's ego. And you know, we all know what ego stands for. Ease God out. Because ego, we've all got it, whatever it is. You know, we have to temper it, and we have to learn, and we have to reflect on our actions and our thoughts and deeds. And I'm going to tell all the people that listen to this a big secret. And this is one of the biggest secrets ever known to man. We are responsible. We are responsible for our actions, our thoughts, and our deeds. And it's the life that we are living. It's up to us to try to grow. Nobody else is responsible. You can blame everybody. Oh, it was their fault. It was their fault. She said this, he said that. No, we are responsible. So, you know, this manifestation, because a lot of people are into manifestation now, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it works. It works. But they haven't got a clue. They have not got a clue how to do it. Because I want this, I want that. Well, yeah, right. Oh, you want it, right? Oh, yeah, okay. The universe is going to say, yeah, we know you want it. But if you hone it down and use your ability, and you say something along the lines of, I am ready to take on the responsibility of, and then you'll attract, and then you'll. Anyway, that's another.
That's a whole other tangent.
Yeah. Well, let's get back onto the energy.
Okay,
Let's get back onto the energy.
So let's talk about how there's also seems to be as I was saying before we started recording, a revival in Victorian era mediumship here in the States. With table knocking and the cabinet mediumship and transfiguration, all that.
Oh wow! I love transfiguration. I love it.
So, what are your experiences in those areas of mediumship?
I helped develop a couple of physical mediums, and through that,
could you explain what a physical medium is for people that might just be like, what's a physical medium versus a medium? Like,
right? Okay, yeah. Well, the easiest way is when we talk about clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, and there's so many clairs now. There used to be 3, now there's thousands of them now. But clairvoyance, for example, clairvoyance where we see the picture patterns, and you might have a medium say, "Oh, I see someone building up behind you." And basically what it is, it's clairvoyance. It's objective clairvoyance. They see in the object. Whereas if someone was really building up behind you in the physical form, that would be physical mediumship. And quite often there's various different aspects to physical mediumship. The most developed, which is very, very rare nowadays, would be your Helen Duncan, where somebody would go into trance from the ectoplasm would come and the whole form would form, and then they would communicate. One of the most popular, and is still popular in this country, and I'm sure it will be in America, is sort of either direct voice. But again, you have to be careful, because with our technology nowadays, that there'll be a few charlatans out there. And the other one's transfiguration. Whereas with transfiguration, and I've seen this really close up. It was a lady who was down from Manchester, and it was about maybe 20 odd years ago, and I was about maybe a foot away from her, and literally the energy and she's sort of transfigured, and she had a full beard. I mean, a full-on beard.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Not for the ladies who go out and have one little pick like this. I'm talking about a full-on beard, and it blew me away. It blew me away, and I was so interested in for quite a number of years that I started. As I teach the psychic and mediumistic developer, I started helping a few people develop certain skill sets. And the thing is, when you see it for the first time, and you see a lot of phenomena, and you see a lot of the energy, people are blown away. But the thing is, the ultimate is you've got to have the evidence as well. It's not just about phenomena. It's not about just having the energy. And if anybody sees materialization, I always say to people, ask them for displacement. Okay, because you can sit and sit and sit, and you can see the face, and everybody's seeing the face, and whatever. Ask them for displacement. So what they do, they displace the face so they can see the medium's face and the face of the spirit, because that stretches the medium, and it also stretches everybody. Because quite often when you're in these environments, when you're looking, your own abilities are kicking in, your clairvoyant abilities and all this, that. Oh, I can see this, I can see that. Oh, look at this, I look at that. And the thing is, if you've got a developed medium there, they can build it up, and it can be really good. But again, it's only good if we get evidence from it. If there's no evidence, all it is a bit of energy.
So, what would you say is, for you, the most intriguing type of mediumship that you have been witness to?
Ooh, that's a
Most
big one.
perplexing, the kind that you're just like, ooh, kind of takes your breath away for.
That's a difficult one, because I've seen so many. I've seen so many really good mediums. What you would call gallery mediumship. I've seen some fantastic evidence. I've seen, sort of work for 8 years with a medium, and we sat every Thursday night for 8 years, 8 years to develop a medium.
Wow.
And the unfortunate thing was, and this is an honest story, that we got to the stage where we did 2 public demonstrations, and it was good. Some good phenomena. There was good phenomena, and then unfortunately the medium was ill one night, and I said, "Oh, we shouldn't sit." So no, we will. And I said, no, we shouldn't sit. You're ill. Everything else. And we used to have another medium, very, very well-known medium in the UK, and the one medium would go in trance and give direction, and it was really quite highly developed. And this medium said, "No, I want you to ask the medium, should we go ahead with this 3rd public demonstration?" And I said, "Well, we shouldn't." I was the circle leader. I said, "We shouldn't, And this medium says there'll always be another night. Always be another night. The unfortunate thing is the ego cut in, and this lady wanted to do this public demonstration.
Oh, yeah.
So we did it. And against my better judgment, I just kept saying, no, you shouldn't do it. There's always another night. Everybody in the hall was amazed. But there was no evidence there.
Oh, okay.
It was just phenomena. It was a lot of people had never seen the energy build-up, never seen the transfiguration, this, that, and the other, and it wasn't developed enough. And from that day on, everything, 8 years, just to the side. Never went any further.
Oh, wow.
And that's the type of dedication you need to get the phenomena. But unfortunately, that particular medium, all the way through, I really honestly thought that we would get full materialization and everything else. And it got to the stage where, it maybe wasn't that, it wasn't right. But through that circle, There was a guy, he's in spirit now. There was a psychic artist called Dave Cheney, and he used to draw psychic art in the pitch black. So we'd be in the pitch black and he'd be drawing. And then at there, you'd have all these people.
fantastic.
Oh,
Oh,
it was really good. It was really good.
wow.
There's a lot of learning come out of that circle as
Mhm.
well. So the thing is, a lot of the stuff that people will be seeing, especially when it's bubbling away, won't be highly developed, but it will be exciting. It will be exciting. You can see the phenomena. And if you're using it to propel yourself forward, go for it. Go for it. But also be careful of the charlatans.
Yeah. So, what would you say is the difference? I know that here in the States, every once in a while, you will hear somebody talk about being in a development circle,
Yes, yeah.
but they're far and few between. Very, very far and few between.
Are
Usually,
you talking open or closed?
uh, well, people advertising for they only advertise for development circles, and then you have to pay to be a part of it every time you
Okay.
want to sit in the circle.
Okay.
And I know in the UK, I've been talking to a few people that have been reaching out to me, and they've reached out to me through the PsychicCellar page.
Yeah.
And they've been saying, "Oh, I'm a medium. I've been sitting in circle for 5 years, and another person was 6 years, another person just 2 years." And I'm like, when do you know you don't need the circle?
Oh God, this is a difficult one. There's two different types of circle. There's open circle and there's closed circle.
Okay.
Whenever I run any circles, especially for development,
Mm-hmm.
I put a time span on them.
Mm-hmm.
I put a time span because a lot of people don't realize, like you've just mentioned, it was me that mentioned, oh, I've been in this circle for 5 years. Well, you're in the wrong bleeding place then, aren't you?
Yeah.
If you've been in a bloody circle for 5 years and you're not developing one medium for a specific purpose, you're in the wrong place.
Right.
The thing is, I believe, and this is only my belief, open circles is where you can go on the circle. If you've got a strong circle leader, they will allow people to work in a responsible way, and you're there and you're working, they will control it. A closed circle usually is to help people develop those abilities that we are talking about. I would put a time limit to 8 to 10 weeks on a closed circle. 8 to 10 weeks, because within those 8 to 10 weeks, certain people will grow faster than the others. And usually it's the person that doesn't seem to be growing fast is the one that's really getting the knowledge.
The most out of it.
Yeah, they are usually getting the most out of it. They won't understand at that particular time. They'll say, "Oh, but that person's doing this, that person's doing that." No, but that person, you might be the one that's contributing all the energy to allow these other people to work. I sat in a development circle for quite a while because it was not just, it was way over 6 weeks, that's for sure, but it was developing mediums for platform work. And I had a guilt trip because I used to say, "Oh, Brenda, I had to go to the circle." I said, "I can just feel her giving me energy all the time. And I felt guilty about it. And the circle leader said, "That's what she's here for. That's what she's here for." And quick little story. One evening, I went to a spiritualist church on a Monday night, cold, wet Monday night. And I arrived, and there were only 2 people there, as well as the chair. So 3 in total. That was Brenda and her husband. And I did a full hour and a half service, and all the messages were for Brenda.
Oh, that's so
And
wonderful.
that blew me away because I'd always been told no matter how many people are there, you do the full service. And then I thought, yeah, it wasn't for me to question, but development circles are designed to break. They're designed to grow. If you think you've got, I don't know, 5 or 6 people in a circle and it's like an egg and they're all growing, it
The
needs to
cell's gonna
crack.
break. Yeah.
Yeah, it needs to crack.
Mhm.
And then what you need to do is then either do another one and change the format, or someone moves on or whatever. But quite often within development circles of 2 years, 5 years, this, that, and the other, there's a lot of tittle tattle that goes on. And there's, oh, but this person said this, and it gets comfy. And people are in their comfort zone. And oh yeah, I like sitting with this person because they understand me. And oh yes, they always bring my mum through. Well, if they always bring your mum through, they're not working hard enough, are they?
Right.
And what you have to do is grow. The circle will separate, and then it has to reform. So it's not to say some people can't be in the same circle over a period of time, but it is designed to grow, and you need to stretch people. You need to pull them out of their comfort zone. And quite often there are difficult conversations as well, about discipline. You're there. You want, you want to develop, and you want to work for spirit in a spiritual way. Then you have to be disciplined. Only 3 things you need.
People do not get that. They
only need 3 things to be a medium. Only 3.
Only 3 things?
Yeah, only 3.
Okay. All right.
Discipline.
I already heard you say that in my head. That's why I was ready to move forward.
Yeah, there was a bit of feedback, wasn't it? A bit of feedback.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll say psychic feedback, because I really heard you say that in my head. So, okay. In my family, with my mom, who I think I've told you, she can tell you what color car is going to come around the corner.
Yeah.
On a call, like what you're going to get in the mail, that kind of ability, right? When this happens between us, she'll say, "You're thinking too loud."
Yes. Oh wow, yes. Yeah. I've had that. Yeah. Oh.
Okay. All right. So on top of what's going on with this whole like revival of Victorian era versions or types of mediumship, with like cabinet mediumship, the table knocking or the rapping and all that.
So they're all going to be sitting saying, "Anybody there?"
Pretty much.
Okay.
Sorry, but yeah. What's your take on that? That there seems to be such a like interest in that right now here in the States.
Well, look, modern day spiritualism come from the Fox sisters, didn't it? That's where it came. That's where it came. Hydesville, and
Hydesville,
and when you're going forward, if you've got that passion for physical mediumship, direct voice is one of the good ones where you can get on recordings and things like that. It takes a lot of discipline, and it takes a lot of effort. And in the modern world where we want the quick fixes, then have people really got that dedication? Have they really got? I'm no martyr, but I spend every Thursday, no matter what, for 8 years, going to pick someone up from work at 5:30 to get to a circle at 7, and then I'd take her home, and I'd get home about 10 o'clock. But I loved it because I was learning.
Right.
And everybody else was learning. And just because we were sitting for this one person, it doesn't mean that we did not hone our abilities in our way and various different things. But it's having that discipline to know that spirit are in control, and your teams in spirit are holding you as well. So anytime you sit in a circle and your mind's running riot and thinking, Oh, can't bloody blah, blah, blah. Just go with it. Just go with it, because your team is there. Your team are helping you. So there will be a revival in this type of thing. But then I would also say question, because with the technology of today, it is more open to charlatans and things of that nature. You have to question everything. When you get mediums who were clairaudient and they say, I can hear spirit gesture, I can hear them, yeah, I'll say, well, stick a bleeding microphone there, then let's all hear them then. Because it's not physical mediumship you heard, it's clairaudience you're getting. You were projecting that sound pattern. Clairaudience is just sound patterns. Clairvoyance is just picture patterns. The most powerful is clairsentience. It's where the spirit gets close to you and gives you a feeling, and you automatically know, their blood type, their aches and pains and all this, and they make you do little movements, and that's data evidence.
Let me tell you what would happen here in the States if somebody were to explain that. Okay, I can feel their blood type. I feel them. I feel blah, 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 blah. There would be some people probably in the audience that would be like, that's not good. I'm not even going to say what they're.
Why isn't it good? Why isn't it good?
They would probably say that it was evil, and they would probably put it under the category of integration. If you've ever heard
I don't understand. No, I haven't.
Demonic integration.
Oh, for goodness sake! I
kid you not, Marcus. I kid you not.
Look. I'll tell you now. When I'm teaching mediumistic development, I'm telling everyone that'll listen, you have to understand that when spirit work with you, it's up to us to understand the signals that they're sending. And quite often you will see media. Have you've seen Deb and I work together?
Oh yeah, I love Deb. Deb Clark. Yeah.
Deb was in one of my development circles, believe it or not.
Oh, I didn't know.
She didn't need to be. She didn't need to be because she'd been elsewhere or whatever. But she said, "Oh, Marcus, I want to come and do this." I said, "Yeah, come on then, and whatever." And so she, even to this day, she stands up and does it, because I used to make her stand up. But getting back to the point, the thing is that we have to notice everything that's going on with us. So people that are clairaudient are having a chat, okay, in their head or whatever. People that are clairvoyant are seeing the picture patterns. And what they're doing is they're missing the signals that the spirit is sending them. So if spirit make you do this, you have to explain it. Why am I doing this? Why am I holding my hands like this? Why am I scratching my head when it's not there? It's all part of the message. So when you're given a name and you're given a date, and then all of a sudden you get, oh my goodness, I feel as if a tooth's missing here. And then you tell them, you say, well, did she have a tooth missing here? Yeah, because that's the signal that spirit has sent you.
It's that subtle symbolism. Yeah.
Oh God, and you have to work hard at it, and you do need to have to work hard. Look, to get quality, and look, it's quality, not quantity.
That's what I tell
you need quality. You need the quality. You need that quality, and then I'm one of the I let myself down at times, because at times they tell me off, and they say I want something specific. And I'm hard and fast. I said, give me something specific, whatever. And sometimes I miss a few of the signals. But then when I've learned to recognize all the signals, that's where the clairsentient side of your nature comes in. And the thing is, when a grandmother's got a little toe that curls because of the shoes she wore, and she then had a bunion that she had to have an operation on, and you get that through just one little feeling, that's damn good evidence at times. It's good evidence, and it's not all the evidence. It's a part of it, that builds that picture up, because what you're doing is communicating with that spirit. You're communicating with that person that was in a human body, and they can use your body by that. But it's all energy, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And another thing is that here in the States, you in the UK, you being the UK plural, not just you, Marcus, but everybody.
Not just me. Don't
Say,
forget Welsh.
just Marcus,
Welsh.
just Marcus. Okay, just Welsh. Okay, Welsh Marcus. Trance mediumship.
Mm-hmm.
I use that term here, and they just look at me like deer in headlights, and they're like, "What is that? Like, what is trance mediumship?" And so, what a lot of people understand here in the States is channeling.
Channeling,
like,
yeah.
try to
Yeah,
say
yeah.
trance mediumship is channeling. Would you
Okay.
agree with that?
Well,
Channel.
yeah, and again, I've. Oh, it sounds as if it's I this, I this, I that, and I don't mean it to sound like
That's
that,
okay,
because
because I view
um,
you, and I'm sure that everybody else is going to view you as being very, very respectable in your field and respectful of
yeah,
spirit. And you are a humanitarian and a mentor,
yeah,
and you've been doing this for years. So,
yes. Well, yeah, it's going to be what, 40 years next year. 40
yeah.
years next year, and I always tell people I come in the back door, but I love trance.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely love trance. But what a lot of people don't understand about trance is there's so many different levels.
Mm-hmm.
So the channeling, as to use the American terminology, the channeling, and again, it's down to how highly developed it is. Now, I can enjoy a light trance where you will get inspirational speaking, and the words are channeled through, and this is why they use the term channeling, and the words are come in, and they're very directive, and they very a lot of people can understand them, down to the deep trance,
Mm-hmm.
where you will get a communication,
Mm-hmm.
where you will get people coming through and speaking in the voice of that person.
Mm-hmm.
So they but I when people are developing trance, they say, oh, sometimes I feel as if I'm just out of the chair, or my thoughts are there, and it's as if I can't direct my thoughts. And every individual is different.
Mm-hmm.
But SPTV did a what's the word? They got 6 trance mediums and asked them all the same question.
Yeah, I
Can you
remember.
remember that?
I
Can you
remember
remember
that.
that?
Yeah.
So many answers, so many different answers,
Yeah.
so many different answers. And the thing is, quite often people want an answer to a question that they haven't even thought out themselves. What's the meaning of life? Well, we're here. We have to find that meaning. It's a big question, isn't it? So I respect the levels of trance, maybe a little bit more than some of the people that channel it, because I can see it for what it is, and I can see it that it is trance, and it is another person sort of being channeled, or the thoughts of that person being channeled, whether it's developed enough to a level where all the information should be adhered to, which I don't believe anyway, because one of the best trances I ever saw was a guy called Paddy Sterrett, who used to run ASH, which was the Association of Spiritual Healers, and he came to my house, and there was about 20.
I've never heard of this. I've never heard.
ASH. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're still running. It's in Birmingham, and Sai Baba. The big Hindu guy with the big hair.
Oh, yeah.
And used to do the ash and all this, that, and the other. He used to direct people to Paddy. Anyway, so Paddy came to my house, and we were doing a trance evening, because we knew each other, and I said, look, I've got people in Coventry who want to see really deep trance, will you come along? And he came along. And the thing with Paddy, he had a lot of physical ailments, and he could never, ever keep still. But when he was in deep trance, the only thing that moved was his lips. And he went into deep trance. And a Catholic priest came through, which was one of his helpers. And I and this Catholic priest had a bit of a ding dong, because I just don't take, something is said to come from spirit, or an idea to come from spirit, and I'll question it, and I'll stretch them and whatever. And we were having this conversation, and he was putting his views across, and I wasn't agreeing with his views, so we had a good old argument. And everybody in the room was, "You can't talk to spirit like that." I said, "I bloody well can. It's my house." and the moral of it is that just because someone's gone to spirit, and just because they come in through a trance medium, it doesn't always mean that their ideas have changed from when they were in the physical body.
I've had to explain that on several occasions. Yeah. I actually worked with a woman who, she reached out to me and begged and pleaded, and she wanted mediumship. And her mother came through, and I described her mother, gave her mother's name, everything. And she was like, I will say she was kind of shaken. Okay.
Yeah. Good stuff.
And some of the things that her mother was saying was worrying her, because her mother in spirit had concerns about the grandson, meaning my client's son.
Yeah.
And at the end of this whole hour, that my client had taken notes and everything and things of that nature, and things were ringing true one after the next.
Yeah.
Because this was coming from the mother. I had no idea about any of this. I didn't even know my client had any children, right?
Yeah.
And then I didn't hear from her. And because of the way she was reacting, I felt, I need to reach out to her and just make sure she's okay, right? So I reached out to her and I said, "Hi, I just wanted to make sure that, if you had any questions or anything like that." And she said to me that she decided that who I was, that the information that I was getting, that spirit was not of the highest heavenly version of her mother. So she was going to disregard all of it.
I'm sorry to smile. Oh, my goodness gracious.
Okay, I was just
my goodness.
I was like, over an hour, Marcus.
But don't people realize that when people go to spirit, they are who they are?
That's what I was.
They are who they are.
There was no arguing. So I just was like,
yeah, they are who they are, and the best evidence quite often is them coming as they are. I have heard mediums say, and I say this quite a lot. So if anybody, they say, "Oh, spirit, come on a wing of love." What? Some of them might, if they were like love in person, but they come as they are. They come as real people, because how are they going to prove who they are if they come in and say, "Oh, I'd love you," and they used to beat the hell out of them. It
was another thing that she even said was, "Well, this really has to be my mother, because she was always so anxious and so nervous about everything."
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I can remember being in the congregation, and a friend of mine was working, and they brought a person through and said to this lady, "Oh, I've got this person." She said, yeah, I know him. And said, and give some more information. She said, "I didn't want to speak to him when he was here, and I don't want to speak to him now." But she proved survival. Job done. because she'd proved survival, job done. And my friend was, oh, but I had all this information. I says, yes, but you proved survival.
Yeah.
And that person was saying, I didn't want anything to do with them when they were here, and I don't want anything to do with
that
them now.
too.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it's like you're just kind of like, because the clients here in the States, they're like, say it, what? Say it.
Yeah.
Tell me. And it's like, all right, I'm going to say it exactly the way it was said.
Yeah.
And then they're just, and then usually it goes left instead of right, zigs instead of zags.
Yeah. No. People are people, and when we pass to spirit, we've got an adjustment to make. We are, but the way in which we are giving information to those loved ones and those friends, we can only relate to those that are in the physical body. So those in spirit, they give the evidence to say, I understand this and I understand that. So this is not getting too deep, is it? This is
I
fun.
don't believe it is.
No, I know. I don't know. I mean, it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Not at all. So another thing, real quick, because I know you are super, super busy. Okay.
Not tonight. I'm not. I'm here for you.
Oh Lord.
Oh Lord. Oh Lordy.
All right. Well, I just wanted to talk about like different things that you are currently involved with, like
Yeah.
different humanitarian missions, the
Yeah.
type of stuff that you do. Because let me tell you, everybody, as I said when we first started tonight, with Marks and I have known each other for probably 4 or 5 years through Spiritual Psychics TV. Okay, and he looks younger now.
Oh,
And
this
what
velvet tongue of
I
yours.
am
You're
being
too smooth. You're too
serious.
smooth.
I am being serious. And why I think that is because he has this innate ability, and you do, Marcus, of just being like, no, I am listening to spirit. I'm listening to my soul. I'm listening to my gut. I'm listening to what, almost like on a cellular level, you are listening to what you need or should be doing, and you are acting upon it. And I think that is giving you more energy to keep moving and keep going.
My energy levels are going through the roof. I must admit, but I think you're giving me a little bit more credit
Oh,
than I'm due.
come on. You're being
I've had the absolute privilege over the last, oh God, was it, God knows how many years now. It's not that many, really. Maybe the last 6 years to be involved with a humanitarian charity. And I've always said that to grow spiritually, we have to serve in some way. So I believe that's through mediumship, and I believe it's through selfless service by doing actions. And I've been on quite a few missions. The last 3 or 4 was the last one was 2 weeks ago to Iraq.
Wow.
Where there was floods in Kurdistan, where I went to Iraq 3 times in 2019 and helped with emergency food aid. The one before that was, which some people don't even know, there was an earthquake in Nepal.
I did not until I saw your posts.
Yeah, and there was we are talking like something like Harrison Ford, Raiders of the Lost Ark type in the mountains there, where I went out to do an assessment 3 days after the earthquake. And the beautiful thing is this guy called Rimple Singh, he's an amazing guy out there. When I'd come back, I'd set up all the assessments and everything else. We did emergency food aid and cooking equipment and everything else. And on Christmas Day, and which is not relevant to them because it's a Hindu country, but on Christmas Day and Boxing Day, he was distributing 65 grand's worth of blankets, tarpaulins, and all manner of things. The one before that was the this is why I think you give me more credit, because quite often we haven't got time to think about it. The Moroccan earthquake happened on the Friday night at 11 o'clock. 10 o'clock the next morning, I got the phone call. Could I fly out? And by 5 o'clock, we were flying out, and we were there 11 o'clock on the Saturday night, going through the Atlas Mountains, where there was absolutely total devastation, because of the earthquake. And we, in some communities, there was no government aid. Down in the Taradont area, we linked in with the Muslim charity there, and we were delivering aid on donkeys and mopeds going up through the Atlas Mountains. So but it's an absolute privilege to be able to do it. And I wouldn't say quite often that it's spirit guided, but it's what I feel inside that I should be doing if I've been given that opportunity. And as I said, I mean, you've all heard of the Ukraine war, the charity that I work for. 2 days after the war, I was in Moldova, Ukraine border, setting up a food network with the food being cooked in a Krishna temple, being sort of delivered by a Protestant group and a Catholic group, and funded by a Sikh organization. Now, how better than humanity can you get than that?
That's right.
Everybody coming together. But the thing is, as I said, to me, it's a privilege to do it. It's an absolute honor to be able to do it. But the most important thing is the person that gives that $1 or $5 or pounds in that charity or to someone. Without that, this type of work wouldn't go on. So I love doing it, and I do get energy out of it. It's challenging. It's very, very challenging. I think one of the most challenging missions I had was when I was in Iraq for the second time. It was when the Americans pulled out, and it created the Syrian Kurd crisis. And we were on the border feeding every single Kurdish family that came across, and setting up things in refugee camps. And as I said, it's not just the organization I work for. Hundreds and thousands of people do it, but it's to do with the charity from people's hearts that get the funds to allow people, for me to have the privilege to do it.
Right.
And it is an absolute privilege, honestly. It's, as I said, it's challenging, but very, very rewarding. Very rewarding, because when you, and I've taken a lot of people on their first missions as well. Took one guy to Madagascar after the cyclone, another to the Ukraine, and I always say to them, when they come back, it's not your family that have changed, it's you. Because we can get a bit cranky. And it's the same with mediumship. Any developing mediums out there, and you work, and you've had, maybe a good communication, and then you've given evidence, and you feel on that high. You've got to understand there's a corresponding low as well, and you will come down, and you have to level out. And those that love you and those that are around you, what you have to understand is that you were the one that's changed. So through my mediumship and through my development of my abilities, the humanitarian work, when I come back, I can level out quite well, and understand what's going on, and then maybe help others, saying, look, don't snap at your family. Because they want you to mow the lawn or whatever, and you want to sit there, you're thinking about the Yazidi woman in Iraq that was raped or whatever. You know what I mean? You can't. What you have to do is you have changed, and you have to deal with it, And it's exactly the same with psychic abilities and mediumistic abilities. You are the one that's changing.
Mm-hmm.
So some of your friends will move away.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, God, I am going deep now, aren't I? But
Oh, yeah, you
yeah,
are.
but it is.
I was
Yeah.
just sitting here thinking, Marcus, would you come back so that because I had a little bit of an idea in my head while you were just talking about some of the things that you were mentioning. So would you come back sometime so that we could follow up on some of the ideas that I'm kind of
Oh, 100%.
throwing out of my
100%.
head
Yeah,
here?
100%. And get a couple of guests on. Get a
All
couple of
right, all
guests
right, we'll
on.
do it. We'll do it. All right.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
You know me. I always say, and I always say it. I'm an independent. I came in spiritualism through the back door.
Mhm.
That's what I say.
Yeah.
And whoever it is, whatever it is, if I take a phone call, say, "Oh, can you do this? Can you do that?" I don't even ask them what organization they are. I just look on the calendar. If the date's there, if it's free, and I can do it, I say yes. If I can't, I
Wonderful.
say I'm sorry. But
Heard him,
any
everybody.
anytime, if you ever want to do a charity fundraiser, because I'm more into charity fundraisers, that type of stuff.
Mhm.
If you want to do a live, sort of on whatever, where
Hey,
people
yeah,
come,
we should do all of the above. We
yeah,
need to be more in contact about all this because, yeah, this is a lot. Everything that we have discussed today, I feel, is something that people can glean much information from.
big
Um,
one's energy, big
yeah,
one's energy transfer,
yeah,
reset,
mm,
energy transfer and resetting is simple.
yeah,
We'll have to deal
very
with that one day. Energy transfer and resetting yourself.
mhm.
That it's so simple, and people.
They overthink
I'm
it.
sorry to go. Oh
Overthink
God, they
it.
said, oh, so
Yeah.
overthink it,
Mhm.
and just I've got to tell you this story because
Okay.
this will resonate with someone. This guy that sat on my development circle, he's really down to earth guy. He was a fireman. And he phoned me up and he said, "Marcus, I need to ask you a question." I said, "Oh, come on, Tony. What nonsense are you going to ask me now?" And he said, "Oh, you know me so well." He said, I've just been to a lady that's going to clean my aura." I said, "Oh, okay." He said, "Yeah," and she said, "I need another session." And I said, "Well, are you sure, mate?" And he said, "Yeah," because she sounded so convincing. And he said, "I know what you're going to say, Marcus." And I said, "Well, I don't need to say it then, do I?"
That's
I said,
right.
it's a load of bloody rubbish, mate." And and he said, "No, but what she said is that if I don't have it, it'll be like a wooden stake in my heart that's rusting." I said, "Tony, for goodness sake, you're a fireman, mate. You used to deal with fires, didn't you?" And he said, "Yes." And I said, "How does wood rust?" What utter bleeding nonsense. And the thing is, these things are out there.
Mm-hmm.
People prey on the vulnerable and those that want either a little bit of comfort, or they, instead of dealing with their own responsibilities, they can't cope themselves, and then they reach out and then they get this type of nonsense,
Mm-hmm.
So anybody, we will have another one.
Yeah.
Anybody want some energy transfer for fertility and this, that, and the other, and resetting your own mind and resetting your own spirit? It's simple. It's simple stuff.
It really is, everybody.
Yeah.
It really is. So, on that note, Marcus, I want to say thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank
Always a pleasure.
you.
Never a chore.
Always so wonderful catching up with you. And I can't thank you enough. You're 5 hours ahead, right? So,
Well, oh, am I? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
late,
There you go.
getting late for you. And it's still afternoon here in Ohio. But I will have you back on very soon. We'll talk about it when we're done here. And everybody, that's it for today. So, Marcus, I'm going to take you off the screen.
Yes.
Okay.
Goodbye, everybody.
And if any of you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to the Psychic Cellar. Um, you're more than welcome to reach out to Marcus. You can find him marcuslapsa medium. And this is the website, PsychicCellar.com. If you have any questions about Marcus, about what the Psychic Cellar is, about mediumship, Reiki, anything that we've discussed here, understand there's a contact form on the website. I will absolutely give you any information about Marcus, meaning how to contact him if you have questions directed specifically to him, or if you just have a question for me about what the Psychic Cellar is about. We also do have an event coming up, and now let me get that. We actually have a crystal singing bowl meditation coming up on May 5th, and that's from 3 to 4:30 p.m. And now, what a crystal singing bowl meditation is about, it's right there on the screen, but it's really about the crystal singing bowl itself having the same frequency. There's 7 bowls, 7 chakras in the system of Reiki, and those energy centers kind of pair up with their own bowl, and each bowl is made of 99% quartz and 1% silicone. And when you make that bowl resonate, the frequency that it emits will actually help heal and get that chakra center aligned with all the other centers that you have in your energy field. So, if that is something that you are interested in, there's a little bit of info about it there. And as always, check out the website. I'm going to go like that with my finger right now. And you can absolutely book so that you will have a ticket for that event. And that is it for today. And I wanted to thank all of you for watching, listening, wherever you are that you are going to view this. Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, Spotify. It's everywhere. Now, the video version will be on Spotify and will be on the YouTube channel, which is The Psychic Cellar. And it's going to also be on the Psychic Cellar profile on Facebook and the Psychic Cellar page on Facebook. Everybody, remember you're loved, remember your importance, and remember who you are. You are loved. Above all else, you are loved. Just be you. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.